Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold. Happy hump day. Hope you're all having a good Wednesday so far. There isn't a ton of news to talk about, so no idea if this will be a long or short show. It kind of depends on what happens as we go. But we're going to get right into it. Let's start things off with a couple of our sponsors. First up, I know we got the Bitcoin conference going on, but we can't forget to talk about gold, because there was a Ron DeSantis clip that I'll play for you guys. But let's talk about gold a little bit. Have you heard about President Trump's impact on gold? Every time Trump's name surges in the headlines, gold goes with it. Happened the day he took office, and it's still going up. Gold doesn't just like Trump, it rallies around him. If you bought gold the day he became president, you'd be up almost $400 an ounce by now. Here's the thing. Gold has been used as a store of value for centuries. The government can't easily manipulate it, and it's known as a hedge against market risk and inflation. How high will the price of gold go under Trump's second term? Will gold continue to break record after record in 2025 and beyond? Learn about an IRS loophole that allows you to diversify your savings with gold and silver, tax and penalty free, with a free copy of the gold and silver kit sent directly to your doorstep. Plus, you could qualify for up to 10% instant match in bonus silver. Visit badlandsgold.com to learn how you can add gold to your portfolio. That's badlandsgold.com. Also very excited, we got an older sponsor back in the mix, 1791 Gun Leather. I use this for my gun when I carry. Looking for a Father's Day gift for your Second Amendment dad, 2A dad? How about a top-notch holster from 1791 Gun Leather? For more than 2 centuries, the Second Amendment has protected our rights to keep and bear arms. At 1791 Gun Leather, our love for the Second Amendment goes hand in hand with the passion and for the art of the gun leather. 1791 Gun Leather holsters mold to just about any handgun and are made using only 100% certified American heavy native steer hide. 4 generations of professional leather artisans into the mastery of both beautiful craftsmanship and functionality are found in each holster, and every 1791 Gun Leather product is a testament to their unwavering commitment to excellence and comes with a lifetime warranty. Your satisfaction and peace of mind are top priority. Get Dad what he really wants. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/1791. Use promo code Badlands for 10% off. Protect freedoms, firearms, and loved ones with 1791 Gun Leather. That's badlandsmedia.tv/1791. Promo code Badlands. All right, chat. How we doing today? Anything interesting going on? No news is good news, I guess. Baby Lander onesies would be so cute. Yeah, I thought we used to have onesies. I'll check it out. I'll confirm, and if we don't, I'll get some made. Charlie Kirk is complaining that Jake Tapper is calling him anti-Semitic. Interesting. There's a Charlie Kirk thing we'll discuss. Trump kind of gave him a shout out today. But first, let's I'll show you that gold thing from DeSantis. Let me find it. Here we go. We played this last night on Only Lands. Worth discussing again.
So the bill I'm going to sign today is legislation that is going to allow Florida to recognize gold and silver as legal tender in our state. And we have the ability to do that under the federal constitution. There are only 2 states that have done it thus far. They're smaller states. We are the first large state to step up and to get this done. And this is right out of the Constitution of the United States. So this legislation will authorize money services business like check cashers or PayPal to transmit and accept payment in gold and silver. That means these precious metals can start functioning like real currency again, not just investment vehicles for the wealthy. And you notice what's happened in recent weeks and months. How has gold gone down or has gold gone up? Gold's gone up big time because investors are looking at this and they're hedging against, they see the bond yields have gone up. I think they moderate a little today, but when people start seeing that, gold is a place they're going to. So it's not just an investment. It'll be something that you're going to be able to use. And it's something that is very likely to hold its value, certainly.
I just feel like it'd be very difficult to transact in gold and silver, you know? I mean, what if you're going to buy something and you have like a silver coin that's worth $25, $30, but the thing you're buying is only 20? Are they going to cut your coin in half? Are they going to give you change in a piece of silver? It'd be even more difficult with gold with how much it's valued at right now. It's interesting he's doing this though, and I'm been trying to think about why he would be doing this, because I don't trust DeSantis. I know some people like him. You're either in like firmly in one camp. You either think it's all kayfabe and all that stuff, or you don't like it. I'm in that camp where I don't trust or like him, and I feel like there's something more to this. Like he's almost grifting in the opposite direction of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? But a lot of people in Florida, it's a heavy retirement state. A lot of retirees move down that way. A lot of them are probably invested in gold and silver. Maybe he's just trying to earn favor with donors or something for an upcoming presidential run. Who knows? But it is interesting that he's making this move anyway. No updates to the Doge website, which I was not expecting there to be because they just did it like yesterday. Nothing really new on the White House website either, other than Trump celebrating the 101st anniversary of Border Patrol. And in doing this, he commented that Biden never celebrated the 100th anniversary. And so that's why they're celebrating it this time. And I was going to read through the actual thing, but it's kind of long and it's not all that exciting. Judge Jeanine Pirro has been sworn in as the interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll play a little clip of it, though.
Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I take this obligation.
Yeah, so swearing in. Trump did make a couple comments afterwards, and this is where he gave a shout out to Charlie Kirk.
I think we'll be able to save TikTok. I'd like to save TikTok. I mean, TikTok was very good to me. I won the.
Hey, I'm pretty sure I brought up TikTok first yesterday. Didn't I? That was me. Let's start this over.
I think we'll be able to save TikTok. I'd like to save TikTok. I mean, TikTok was very good to me. I won the young people by 37%. No Republicans ever won, and I won by 37%. And Charlie Kirk will tell you TikTok helped, but Charlie Kirk helped also. He just happens to be here. Look at him. He loves that we mentioned that name, right, Charlie? He's done great, and I appreciate all the help. But with young people, we won by 37%, Charlie, and you helped. But TikTok was amazing, and he was the first one. He said, get on TikTok. So I have a little bit of a warm spot. I know I shouldn't. They'll say quid pro quo, put him in jail.
I thought Barron Trump was the reason he got on TikTok. And that young advisor, Alex, what's his name?
For the rest of his life, quid pro quo. No, TikTok was very good to me. I won young people. I don't know if it was because of TikTok, but it was something happened. No Republican has ever won they call them young people. Young people, you can define it a lot of different ways, but I won every age group in young people. And it never happened, and won by 37%. That's a lot. Yeah.
Back on Iran, did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the young generation, he talks about Charlie Kirk and TikTok and how pivotal both were. And you guys know my thoughts on Charlie Kirk, so don't need to elaborate, I don't think, but thought that was interesting. We do have this from Trump, more on the AutoPen story. This is not going away. Other than the rigged presidential election of 2020, the biggest scandal in American history is the AutoPen. Whoever used it was usurping the power of the presidency, and it should be very easy to find out who that person or persons is. They did things that a Joe Biden of sound mind would never have done, like open borders, transgender for everyone, men and women's sports, and far more. Fear not, however, we will bring America back bigger, better, and stronger than ever. I mean, I'm glad he keeps pointing this out. I want to get to the bottom of that. I do have this to show you as well. This is an older video that I had posted. It's a story of Mike Johnson when he was talking about Joe Biden. Every time I hear the AutoPen story, and Biden never knowing what he was signing, I always think back to this story.
Real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago. He goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. Real quick.
I love that story. Not only does it confirm the auto pen stuff, like Joe Biden had no idea he signed something, which, to be fair, having dementia, it's possible he did sign it and just had no idea, forgot about it. But the fact that it was benefiting the Russian war machine and considering the sovereign alliance stuff we've talked about, it just makes that story that much more interesting. But last night, it came out that David Sachs, when he was on Jesse Waters' show, had this comment about the auto pen and Elizabeth Warren. We talked about it on OnlyLands, and it was just confusing. But I do have an update to this.
This is the financial system of the future, Jesse, and we have to encourage it. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the United States. That's the wrong policy for the United States. We want all the innovation happening here. This is a financial system of the future. It's cheaper. It's more efficient. We want it happening here, Jesse, and I think people are thrilled that President Trump is making that possible. This is the financial.
So he accused, maybe that's a strong word, but said that Elizabeth Warren was the one using the auto pen. Later on, he would post in the middle of the night, my theory is that multiple people controlled the auto pen depending on what issue it was. On crypto, Warren controlled the auto pen. I kind of think he's just pulling this out of his ass. Like the comment he made on Jesse Waters. It doesn't really make sense that Elizabeth Warren would go in and use the pen. It just doesn't make sense. I don't buy it. But they are investigating this, so I am curious to see how much they find out, like what the scope actually is. I think I saw that James O'Keefe with O'Keefe Media Group, formerly Project Veritas, is coming out with a video where David Hogg mentions somebody. It's like Jill Biden's chief of staff. Maybe I can just play that clip. But I don't know that David Hogg would know either. That's the thing. There's so much speculation going on. And I'm kind of just writing most of it off until we get some sort of details about the investigation. But let me see if I can find. Yeah, here we go. This is from O'Keefe Media Group.
People knew, or few people knew about Biden. Well, the president of the United States.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was like the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress you enough.
Like Joe Biden's chief of staff, had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at the level. Like, I would avoid him. Like, he was scary. What was his name? Anthony Trump. I've never seen him. Exactly. What do you mean?
I mean, I just really, it's almost annoying the way this is unfolding. Like, everybody's talking about the auto pen. I know it's a big story, but my whole thing, and I've said this since the day this first dropped, is I don't really care. The whole reason Biden is illegitimate is not because the auto pen, it's because he didn't win the 2020 election. And Trump is alluding to that in this post. So yeah, it's a big scandal, but none of this would have even happened if they didn't rig the election. So let's talk about that instead of all these stories speculating about all these other things. That's why I'm not really playing the speculation game. I'm going to wait and see if Ed Martin comes out with any form of actuals on what was going on with it, and then we can discuss that then. Otherwise, I'm more so focused on what actually happened with the election. Let's talk a little bit about the Doge cuts, because you guys know how I feel about those Doge cuts. I feel like it's been too slow. It hasn't been enough, and Congress isn't going to codify it anyway. But this is what Elon Musk had to say about Trump's agenda bill. Elon Musk says Trump's agenda bill undermines the Doge mission. Elon Musk has raised concerns about President Donald Trump's sweeping tax and spending cuts package, saying in a video released Tuesday that he believes it would raise the U.S. budget deficit and undercut efforts by the Department of Government Efficiency. I think I have the actual video here.
So, you know, I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
I kind of agree with the sentiment. It can either be big or it can be beautiful. It's hard to be both. But there's conflicting narratives coming out around a lot of this stuff. We have Stephen Miller talking about Doge cuts. Doge cuts are to discretionary spending. Example, the federal bureaucracy. Under Senate budget rules, you cannot cut discretionary spending, only mandatory in a reconciliation bill. All this shit is so convoluted. That's half the problem. So Doge cuts would have to be done through what is known as a rescissions package or an appropriations bill. The big, beautiful bill is not an annual budget bill and does not fund the departments of government. It does not finance our agencies or federal programs. Instead, it includes the single largest welfare reform in American history, along with the largest tax cut and reform in American history, the most aggressive energy exploration in American history, and the strongest border bill in American history, all while reducing the deficit. But we have more here. I have this from Senator Ron Johnson on Maria Bartiromo this morning, I think it was.
You know, I would ask the question, where are the rescission packages so we can codify the Doge savings? You know, I'm listening to Elon Musk over the weekend, pretty disappointed in this House package as well. If I were him and all the work he put into Doge, and yeah, we maybe stop spending the money, but I don't know if they can eliminate it by impoundment. That's going to be subject to the courts. We need to actually incorporate that into rescission packages so we can eliminate that spending that the Doge found out. Again, I'm not sure all the Doge savings were strictly discretionary. Maybe some of that is in mandatory spending as well, but we're not getting the information from the administration.
Yeah.
And we certainly haven't gotten a rescission package yet.
Well, this is really important because I was questioning why it is that the House Republicans refuse to codify into law, codify the Doge cuts. What's the problem? I mean, all of that wasteful spending that Doge exposed from, for example, one agency, USAID.
Well, Doge was brilliant, and that was a combination of Elon Musk and President Trump. But where's President Trump been in terms of putting pressure on the House to actually codify those rescissions? Where's President from a standpoint of actually embracing a reasonable pre-pandemic level of spending? You don't defeat the deep state by continuing to fund it at President Biden's levels, but that's exactly what the House bill does.
It's crazy. Just looking at Congress.gov, 5,505 bills introduced in total between Congress and Senate, House and Senate, and only 3 have become law so far. Insane. And the 3 that have become law, get rid of that. Oh, actually, it's even more than that. It's 6,000. Oh, no, I was right. 5,500 some. Man, that's so disappointing. But not surprising at all. Congress is kind of worthless. All of them are illegitimate. And I don't expect them to actually codify Trump's bill. But they are apparently planning to, the White House anyway, is planning to send some Doge cuts to the Hill for a separate bill to go through to cut stuff. The White House plans to send a small package of spending cuts to Congress next week, senior GOP officials told several House Republicans Wednesday. The planned transmission of these rescissions bill, confirmed by 2 Republicans, comes after a long internal battle over how to formalize the cuts that have been made by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency initiative. The package set to land on Capitol Hill is expected to reflect only a fraction of the Doge cuts, which is only a fraction of the wasteful, fraudulent, and abusive spending already, which have already fallen far short of Musk's multi-trillion-dollar aspirations. Because I could have just kept reading. The 2 Republicans said it will target NPR and PBS, as well as foreign aid agencies, and have already been gutted by President Donald Trump's administration. I do have a story on NPR, I think. Yeah, I'll do that one next. Speaker Mike Johnson said on X Wednesday that the House is eager and ready to act on Doge's findings so we can deliver even more cuts to big government that President Trump wants and the American people demand. They have their own Doge subcommittee. It's like, why haven't they already been going through and doing all this? He said the House will act quickly on a package without saying when it might be submitted or what it might contain. Republicans on Capitol Hill have been growing impatient as they await the White House request after the Trump administration confirmed more than 6 weeks ago that it intended to send more than $9 billion package of proposed cutbacks. $9 billion. We're told that we've cut or that we've saved $175 billion. So that's like nothing. Is that even 5%? It's crazy. And I don't expect it to pass the Senate anyway, because if it's the kind of bill I think it is, it's going to need 3/5 majority in the Senate. None of these Democrats are going to vote for it. So it's a moot point, isn't it? Like, they're just doing it to say that they're doing it, but none of it's, they know full well it's not going to get passed. And this is why our election fraud system is the most important thing, because it doesn't matter what we do with all this stuff. None of it's going to pass the Congress anyway. They are slow walking this. They are waiting out Trump. And along the way, they are stonewalling Trump in every way possible. And the judiciary is helping with that. We've been talking about this for a while, guys. Like, we need to get to the bottom of our election fraud system, or none of this stuff that's happening matters. It's all a show. It's all talk. Got to fix our elections. And we can't rely on the people that benefit from fraudulent elections to fix the elections. It's not going to work that way. But speaking of NPR has sued the Trump administration over funding bans, citing the First Amendment. NPR and 3 Colorado public radio stations are suing the Trump administration over President Trump's executive order cutting federal funding for public broadcasters. NPR announced Tuesday. The intent could not be more clear. The executive order aims to punish NPR for the content of news and other programming that the president dislikes, said NPR CEO Catherine Maher. This is retaliatory viewpoint-based discrimination in violation of the First Amendment. Maher did not address the longstanding criticism that NPR's news coverage often reflects a pronounced left-wing bias or ideological slant. Public radio, funded in part by taxpayer dollars, is expected to uphold strict standards of neutrality and serve the public interest without partisan bias. The order issued earlier this month blocks congressionally approved funds from reaching NPR and PBS, an action NPR argues is unconstitutional. So here's the thing. NPR totally has the right to the First Amendment. Like, they can say whatever they want. We just don't need to be the ones paying for it. Like, they have the right to the First Amendment. They don't have the right for our tax dollars. And if this somehow like upholds in court, then like Badlands should sue. Like, why are we not getting tax dollars? Why isn't everybody being funded by the government? It doesn't work that way. So it's a silly lawsuit. I can't imagine. I'm sure a liberal judge will like let it proceed a little bit, but it's not gonna stick. We got another post from Donald Trump that I thought was funny. I told Canada, which very much wants to be part of our fabulous Golden Dome system, that it will cost $61 billion if they remain a separate but unequal nation, but will cost $0 if they become our cherished 51st state. They are considering the offer. He loves the 51st state thing. It's $150 billion to implement the Golden Dome system here in the United States. Canada is like fairly large. How is it only going to cost? I feel like it should cost more than this, $61 billion, for us to like protect their area too. But also with the way they're designing the Golden Dome system, some of that stuff is going to be done from space. I feel like it can essentially protect the whole world, couldn't it? Anyway, I thought this story was interesting. Let me see how long this video.
The Germans.
I'll just read it quick. Press pool reporters were left frustrated Tuesday afternoon when, during a State Department briefing, the Trump admin spokesperson refused to comment on German Chancellor Friedrich Merz' announcement that the United States and European allies had lifted absolutely all restrictions on the range of arms sent to Ukraine. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said when pressed by reporters, "I'm not going to discuss that. I'm not going to confirm that." The Kremlin responds by saying the decision was potentially dangerous and runs counter to attempts at a settlement. Still, there have been no confirmation from the governments named by Merz, especially the U.S. Here is how Russia's RT presented the televised exchange. I guess I don't need to play that, but I can't imagine that the United States, Trump, would approve the restrictions on the long-range missiles. I still think it's hilarious that Ukraine has to like ask for permission to use the weapons that are given to them, if that story is even accurate. But I think at some point Trump and them are going to come out and confirm that they did not have anything to do with lifting restrictions on firing on Russia. Just doesn't make sense. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Get a little bit of a clip here. I'm going to play about a minute of this. The Biden administration was essentially using race-based loans for farmers. Weren't giving loans to white farmers. They were only giving it to minorities.
When former President Joe Biden left Washington, D.C., he was leaving behind a DEI secret involving American farmers and $800 million in taxpayer money. And a United States Department of Agriculture whistleblower is now sounding the alarm.
It was to pay off anyone who wasn't a white male's loan. That was the only qualification for this loan forgiveness.
And what was the reaction?
So it was really silent. They were trying to keep this hushed because of the obvious implications of race-based loan forgiveness.
Race-based loan forgiveness. It's in black and white, buried in the American Rescue Plan Act. The United States Secretary of Agriculture shall provide a payment in an amount up to 120% of the outstanding indebtedness of each socially disadvantaged farmer or rancher. The act explicitly lays out who's considered socially disadvantaged.
So just to be clear, if you were American Indian, Alaskan Native, Asian Black, African American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Hispanic, or Latino, and you were in that group, you were told you didn't have to pay your bills, essentially?
Yes, that's correct. And that your loan would be forgiven up to 120% of the loan value.
To me, it was just
120% of the loan value. So think about this. I get $1,000 loan from the government. I'm black, clearly. And this thing says, not only do I not have to pay it back, but they're going to forgive it and give up to $1,200. Am I understanding that correctly? Like, this is insane. Your tax dollars were paying for this shit, guys, if you pay your taxes. Unbelievable. Goes to base. Patrick Henry says, as a black man, I find this deeply offensive. You are the whitest black man I've ever seen, man. How do they measure blackness? Is there a skin tone chart? Asking for a friend. It's a great question. And if you just identify as African American or something, does that count? Where's that list? American Indian, African American, Alaskan Native. That's Brad, at least now. Asian, Black, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Hispanic, or Latino. It's crazy, man. Yesterday, I talked about the Dan Bongino and what he's talking about the J6 pipe bomb or the cocaine found at the White House, the leak of the Supreme Court stuff, all these issues that I would say people don't really care about. You know what I mean? Like, of all the issues you could think of and things that you want our FBI to get to the bottom of, I don't really care about the cocaine at the White House. I'm sure it's not the first time cocaine has been at the White House. I'm sure there's cocaine there now. It's just the first time that they found some unattended to. The leak of Supreme Court stuff leaks to the media all the time. And the J6 pipe bomber, inside job. We kind of already know. So I don't really care about these stories. I want to get to the bottom of the election fraud stuff. And the Russia collusion hoax. I mean, there's a laundry list of things I would much rather them be digging into than those three things. But James Comey was on TV talking about this post from Dan Bongino, and I think it's worth sharing this.
But let's talk a little bit about the FBI decision to go ahead and reopen these cases, which have been something supported by a lot of conservatives out there. What do you make of this?
It's a little confusing to me, honestly. I'm sure it's a huge adjustment to go from being a podcaster to being the deputy director of the FBI, but I don't understand this tweet. First of all, I assume that the investigation of the pipe bomb that was found on January 6th was never closed. The FBI never closes such a thing. So I guess it means they're going to focus on it more. And as to the other things, I thought the Supreme Court marshal had investigated the leak of the opinion, the draft opinion. I don't know what the FBI's role is there. Cocaine at the White House, I thought the Secret Service investigated that. So I don't follow it and understand it. I also don't understand who the audience is for this tweet. The FBI often calls for public assistance or in matters of great public concern will announce an investigation to reassure the public. This seems much more narrowly targeted, maybe to a former podcast audience.
I mean, I kind of agree with him. Like, I don't care about that stuff. Like, a lot of that stuff doesn't affect our day to day. You know what does affect our day to day? Election fraud. Who was behind the cocaine at the White House? And the fact that it was probably one of the Bidens, like Hunter Biden or something, there's much bigger crimes the Bidens committed than having cocaine at the White House. How about we investigate that instead? You see what I mean? Like, these issues that the FBI is like trying to focus on. And I like Dan Bongino. I've engaged with him on Twitter before. Like, I've DM'd with him. I think he's a good dude, but I consider like these specific investigations to kind of be a waste of time and money, when there are much more important things that I think we should be getting to the bottom of that affect us in a much bigger way. Maybe take some of the individuals that you have assigned to those investigations and help them go through the Epstein documents so we get those out quicker. Wouldn't that be a little more efficient use of time? But I don't know. Marco Rubio announces a visa ban for foreign officials who censor Americans online. He announced a new visa restriction policy aimed at foreign officials who attempted to censor protected speech originating in the United States, citing increasing instances of international overreach. Rubio warned that actions taken by foreign governments to silence U.S. citizens and residents, particularly through social media, will no longer be tolerated. The policy will apply to foreign nationals responsible for censorship efforts against U.S. citizens and residents, particularly those who issue or threaten arrest warrants over social media posts made while physically present in the United States. It also targets foreign officials pressuring American tech companies to adopt global content moderation standards that extended to U.S. territory. I think there's a post here on it as well. Yeah, for too long, Americans have been fined, harassed, and even charged by foreign authorities for exercising their free speech rights. Today, I'm announcing a new visa restriction policy that will apply to foreign officials and persons who are complicit in censoring Americans. Free speech is essential to the American way of life, a birthright over which foreign governments have no authority. You know what would be really cool, Marco Rubio, is if you focused this specific attention on American companies who are censoring. You haven't even gotten to the bottom of that, but we're going to, like, how often do we think a foreign official has tried to ban your free speech? Like, can you guys think of any instances other than like Brazil trying to like stop Elon Musk or something? Who cares? We're on our 5th YouTube account. We can't even get on TikTok. We're censored to hell on Instagram. Can't even get on Facebook. Actually, no, we do have a Facebook, but I can't run it. If I touch that Facebook account, my IP address will get us banned. So like some of the stuff I'm seeing lately, especially this week seems very heavy on like the grifting from the administration and Congress. Like there's been a lot of people upset about Doge not being codified. And so all of a sudden we're going to get a $9 billion Doge bill next week. That's not even going to pass the Senate. And then, you know, we're complaining about free speech and none of that being fixed. And we got Marco Rubio putting visa restrictions on foreign nationals who try to censor. Like a lot of the stuff that is supposed to be done isn't getting done. John, this is from Serosi US. Here, let's start with this. CanCon, uncover the cover-ups, set the stage. Maybe, but I don't care about those cover-ups. Let's stop setting stages and just rip the Band-Aid off. Realmus Bright says, that's insane, John. I don't know what you're referring to. And then now Saros US says, John, your show is a great idea to share the news, but we are able to interpret the news ourselves. Just food for thought. Much of what Trump and his team does has a purpose, which we don't know. I don't know what you're saying by that comment. Everyone has an opinion about the IP thing. I don't remember what I said about the IP thing. Anyway, we'll keep going here. Oh yeah, State Department has a Substack. I think I talked about this on Only Lands last night. This is from Logan Hall. I have no idea who this is. The Blaze. The global liberal project is not enabling democracy. Rather, it is trampling democracy and Western heritage along with it in the name of a decadent governing class afraid of its own people. Yeah, it's actually, I read through some of this last night while we were on OnlyLens, and it's kind of based. I would encourage you to go check it out. It's free. Oh, Facebook banning due to my IP. Yeah. Like for a while there, even with Instagram, it was the same thing. Anytime there was a point where I tried creating an Instagram account again, and I was at my parents' house, and I used my mom's phone, and it still got banned, and I didn't even post anything. Like, I created it 12 hours later, not even a single thing post. I got booted off of Instagram for breaking their content policies without having even posted. So explain that one to me. It's crazy. Netanyahu has confirmed the death of top Hamas commander in Gaza airstrike. He announced Wednesday that Mohammed Sinwar, a senior Hamas commander and brother of Yahya Sinwar, was killed in a recent airstrike in Khan Yunis. So they're still bombing the shit out of Gaza. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say on that. Trump administration asked Supreme Court to overturn deportation ruling. They've asked the Supreme Court to intervene after a federal judge blocked its efforts to deport illegal immigrants to countries other than their own. The emergency request filed by the Justice Department seeks to overturn an injunction issued last month by U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy. Murphy reaffirmed his decision Monday night by denying the administration's request to lift the injunction while legal proceedings continue. Trump is continuing to be stonewalled. They are trying to get these judges to right the ship. It's a slow process, though. There's another judge suggesting that USAID fight may be moot. I think all of this is moot sometimes. But a federal judge in Maryland handed the Trump administration a key legal win Tuesday, rejecting a request for expedited discovery in a lawsuit challenging the restructuring of the U.S. Agency for International Development. The ruling signals that, in the court's view, the battle to stop the agency's closure may already be lost. Love that. Screw you, USAID. I still can't believe we're keeping almost 1,000 projects or whatever at USAID. I know it's going to the State Department, but the fact that we're keeping any of it, not shutting the program down entirely, I think is wrong. U.S. and Argentina announced that they are going to withdraw from the WHO. They're going to pledge a new global health framework. I like that they're withdrawing from the WHO. I don't know how I feel about a new, different thing. Like, if it happened, if a global health framework was corrupted through the WHO, what's to say it's not going to happen again? But anyway, Robert Kennedy and Argentine Minister of Health Mario Lugones issued a joint statement Tuesday announcing the withdrawal of both countries from the WHO, citing the need for new science-based approach to global health cooperation. In the statement, Kennedy and them criticized the WHO's management of the COVID pandemic, pointing to serious structural and operational shortcomings that eroded global trust and delayed critical transparency. They expressed concern over early pandemic responses and the risks tied to certain types of research, saying the organization failed to provide timely access to information, which they argued had devastating global consequences. Wasn't there a whole bunch of people freaking out during the Biden administration because Biden was going to sign some global health treaty with WHO, and everybody's like, oh, we just signed away our sovereignty. Did that ever happen? Or did that not happen? Liberty Line, John, don't ever have Rob Braxman on. He will show you how to use VPNs and de-Google your life. I see what you did there. So when people tell me what to do, I always do the opposite. It's not, I think I have to have that person on. Am I using a good VPN? Probably not. Here's the thing, guys. If the government or intel community or anybody wanted access to my information, it doesn't matter if I have a VPN. It doesn't matter if I was in a skiff. They'd be able to do it. Their technology. I am on some blacklist. I'm on all the blacklists. The Trump administration has axed Biden-era barrier for crypto and 401k plans. They announced Wednesday that they're rescinding the Biden-era guidance, urging employers to be cautious before adding cryptocurrency-related digital assets like Bitcoin, NFTs, and meme coins to 401k plans. This is just part of the continuing push from the Trump administration into crypto. They are opening things up, and it's good timing with what's going on. The Bitcoin conference down in Vegas. GMoney was on a panel yesterday. I haven't watched the full thing yet, but I'm going to probably this afternoon. And then tomorrow he's going to be on Rumble's live stream. Rumble has their own little booth there, and they're going to be streaming, and he's going to be on. So pretty exciting stuff for GMoney. But yeah, there's a lot of pro crypto stuff going on these days, pro Bitcoin, and I'm here for it. Actually, they got this new. I'll do this story next. Block's Bitcoin checkout goes live in Vegas, a significant step in making it everyday money. Jack Dorsey's latest Bitcoin vision is hitting the checkout counter, starting with a merch truck parked just off the casino floor inside the Venetian. This week at Bitcoin 2025, Square is piloting real-time Bitcoin payments, letting attendees scan and send crypto for t-shirts, hoodies, and hats at the Bitcoin Inc. pop-up store. The system runs on Lightning, which settles transactions off the main blockchain and is faster and cheaper than traditional processing methods. And this is one of the biggest, people who don't like Bitcoin and like XRP or whatever. It's because they think XRP can handle transactions faster and quicker. And I'm paraphrasing. If you're an XRP guy, don't yell at me. This kind of handles that. This is one of those things that we've been looking for. And this is only going to develop further. Like in the future, you're just going to have your debit card, which is attached to your Bitcoin or crypto or whatever. And that's what you can use to transact. Like that's coming. We're just in the very early days of it. Real Miss Bright says, also kind of annoyed I wasn't asked to help plan the Bitcoin conference. Did you see how many speakers were on that list, Miss Bright? It was insane. Like, I don't know. Yeah, does anyone have the link to watch G's panel at Bitcoin conference? He posted on his Telegram. You can watch the whole thing. We got this. SpaceX's Starship explodes for a third time in a row. Musk promises more frequent launches. Yeah, I didn't actually see the clip. I was trying to find it, but apparently it exploded third time in a row now. That can't be a good thing, positive thing. XAI is going to pay Telegram $300 million to integrate Grok into the chat app. AI is popping up absolutely everywhere. And I think that's the last story I got. Yeah, it's interesting to see XAI partner with Telegram, like almost competing social media. I guess I wouldn't really say competing, but I guess it's not a bad thing. They let anyone speak at Bitcoin Palooza. Yeah, there's 400 plus speakers. That's so crazy. But JD Vance was just speaking. You can watch his full speech. It's out there. I was listening to a little bit of it. White Knight, I don't trust anyone who's an advocate for cryptocurrency, and I wish Trump was not pro-crypto. Why not? What's wrong with cryptocurrency? It's better than fiat dollars. Got a couple rants here for you guys. We got Keith O'Higgins. What's Trump thinking by shouting out Charlie Kirk? Does he want to see how big Charlie's head can get? Maybe Trump just wants to send Charlie back to Israel to get a new supersized yarmulke fitting. Yeah. Whiskey Girl, $10. In case you missed it, I count on you, John, to front run everything. You have, I think she meant to say not disappointed me yet. Thank you, Whiskey Girl. You guys are approaching your 2-week anniversary. Hope everything is going well. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Deadwood. And then Ty Indie Boy, no one trusts the investigations that have been done unless it comes from APL. Just kidding. If we get real elections, the justice phase can come. That's kind of how I'm feeling. Like we need to fix our elections. Like what comes first? The elections or the justice? I don't know. I do not know. But that's all I got for you guys. Busy day here on Badlands. Let me pull up the schedule quick. We got a break now, but Shipwreck Show's coming on at 8 p.m. Eastern. Great show if you guys haven't watched it. Altered State, another great show if you guys haven't watched it. 9 p.m. Eastern. Then the DPH, me and Burning Bright. We'll have plenty to discuss tonight. Should be a fun one as always. So make sure you guys stick around. Hit that thumbs up if you don't mind. Give it a share. And I will see you tonight. And then back again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern right here on the Daily Herald. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Let's get started.
that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.